Frankenstein, you know, so it really kind of like changed the entire drive of the show. So yeah, but we didn't know day to day, man. We you know, we were just kind of like watching as things happened and trying to keep up with what they presented us. It was a really surreal kind of atmosphere. Hope that answers.
Are you and Eric Fox ever going to get to collaborate on any projects in the future?
Awesome, that's funny. I actually I spoke with Eric Fox on the phone yesterday. I'm directing a feature film in New York right now. We're in pre-production. As soon as I leave here, I'm flying back to Brooklyn and you know, going to go into casting and stuff. But Eric is actually going to, Eric's shop, Morbid Effects, is going to do special effects on my film. So we're going to collaborate in that respect. I'm going, you know, I'm designing things, you know, my concepts, and then I'm handing them over to him. And another cool thing is Lainey from my season, she actually works at Eric's shop now. So it's funny, we have this sort of like extended family amongst each other. All of us, not all of us, some of the people in Face Off are kind of douchebaggy, but for the most part, everybody's really cool, and we keep like a tight-knit family, you know? Can I say douchebaggy? Yeah. Okay. What's that? Oh, Lord. With that question, if I had $1 every time I heard that, I would be a rich man. All I can say is no. I can't. There are sci-fi ninjas in the ceiling watching and listening to everything I say. I love that every time I say that, people look up. They're like, really? Little ninja stars start falling. But no, I wish I could give you hints. All I can say is there's only 2 episodes left. I'm still in the running. It's me, Laura, Miranda, and Roy. So one more competition episode and then the finale. So if you can hang in there for 2 more weeks, then you'll have the answer.
What's the most difficult design you've made for the show so far?
Well, my abstract character, the castle-headed character, that was really difficult to pull off, even without, you know, splitting my finger in half. You know, once I got the finger injury, it became next to impossible. I wasn't able to pull it off the way I wanted because I'd actually created this mechanism, this rigging inside the castle to where the actress inside could pull and make the mouth move like a puppet. It wasn't supposed to be, you know, a static prop. It was supposed to be, you know, an active, live sort of creature. But once the mold fell on my finger, I broke my finger, I severed all the nerves in my finger. You know, it's still, you know, 4 months later, I still can't bend it, you know. It literally split open to the bone. And it wasn't a cut, it was the weight of my mold exploded my finger. It's like stepping on a banana, just, you know. So, yeah, it kind of sucked, because I'm left-handed too. So, you know, I had to walk away from this, you know, giant thing that I was trying to pull off. Then I had to, you know, just run and get some emergency surgery and then wrap it up and get right back to work. So I wasn't able to pull it off the way I wanted. Luckily, the judges understood to a degree and didn't rake me over the coals too hard. But yeah, that was a pretty ridiculous undertaking. It was probably my fault for trying to do something so gigantic. So I'll take the blame on that one.
That's good. Will you be dressing up for Halloween? And if yes, what costume?
Yes, I am dressing up for Halloween. I'm going to be Lobo. Are you guys familiar with the comic character Lobo? Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm going to be Lobo this Halloween. I'm going to be running around New York in a sleeveless leather jacket with chains wrapped around my arms, causing as much trouble as I possibly can.
We should go to New York.
Alright, I have 2 questions. One is for a friend of mine who's socially awkward and can't ask.
Wonderful. I'm socially awkward too, so I can relate.
Her question is, have you had tacos yet?
Local tacos?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I had a taco at the gas station.
That counts.
Does that count? It was really good. Not Staples, not Stilettos. What? Yeah, Stripes. I had a Stripes taco, and it was freaking delicious. So yes.
Okay, my other question is, I saw you walking away with guitar. How long have you played music, and what's your favorite genre?
Oh, that's a good question. I was a musician. I've been a musician since I was 15 years old. I started out in music well before I ever even touched a block of clay. In fact, what got me out of Oklahoma, where I'm from, what got me out of Oklahoma initially is my band got signed to a label in Boston, Massachusetts, and that's what pulled me out and sent me to the East Coast. We toured around for a few years, and then my guitarist became a ridiculous alcoholic, and I got really tired of him showing up to shows drunk. So that's when I'm like, you know what, I'm going to pursue this monster thing, and that's how I ended up in New York doing that. But to answer your question, I've played bass for 15 years. I play like slap bass and funk, Les Claypool type stuff, and I've played guitar for 20 years. I play like Slayer, Pantera, shredding type stuff, and I also love acoustic. My musical taste is pretty diverse. I love Tom Waits, but I also love Emperor. I love the most evil black metal band in the world, but I also love Velvet Underground. So just pretty much anything but country music. Sorry, I know I'm in Texas, and I'm probably going to get shot. I got to be honest.
Me too.
Not a big fan. Thank you. I love you too.
Any other questions? I didn't see anything. Okay, there we go. I didn't see any hands earlier. Please make sure to raise your hand if you guys do. I'll walk over there.
What age did you start switching effects?
I was pretty old. I didn't start effects until 2003, so I guess I was 25. Yeah, I'd never even touched a block of clay. I'd never done anything other than play with like latex and fake blood, I just happen to have a knack for it. I've always been an illustrator. I used to do comic books and things like that. But when I touched clay, it just is something natural. It was like a three-dimensional illustration. I was just able to understand. It was instantly like something I could do. And I remember even to the point that like I took some sculptural classes, and my very first sculpture, the teacher is asking, okay, does anyone have sculpture experience? And everyone's all trying to be hotshot. Yeah, I do, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, I've never touched this shit before. And then I did my sculpture, and the teacher comes up to me, he's like, I don't know why you felt the need to lie. He's like, you could have just said you're an experienced sculptor. And I'm like, dude, I'm not. I've never touched clay in my life. And he's like, whatever. And he like actually got pissed off at me and like walked away. And I'm like, dude, you're my teacher. I need you to tell me stuff. And he's like, laugh. And just like, I'm like, okay, so I quit the school. And I started working for myself immediately. I spent less than one semester at the Savini School. It worked out for the best benefit. I saved, 60 grand in tuition and went directly into the field. So I guess him thinking I was a liar actually helped my career somehow, oddly.
So here's a question from me, because I know I've heard it on and off. What is something from either season 1 or a current season that has been, a little bit catty or a practical joke that you played? Something that, people didn't hear that wouldn't know that.
You know what somebody did to me? I think it was Alana. It might have been Frank. Nobody's willing to really admit it, but somebody took the blue cheese bottle, the salad dressing in the fridge, and they filled it up with Pert shampoo. So I come home from like an 8-hour day in the shop, and I'm like, damn, I'm hungry. And like I start making this wrap, and I'm like, cutting up onions and turkey, and I'm like, this is gonna be good. And I covered that shit with Pert shampoo. Took a big bite and I puked all over the place, man. I'm still a little upset about it because I still don't know who did it to me. But yeah, that was a good one. On season 1, Megan used to wake me up by slapping me in the lips with hot dogs. That's also not a very fun way to wake up because there's that half moment that, between sleep and awake where you think something really like naughty is happening to you. Yeah, I didn't like that. But we're constantly busting on each other. We're constantly busting each other's chops and trying to have fun with things. Hiding booze in the ceiling and you know. A bunch of things I probably shouldn't say because they can still technically sue me. So, but yeah, we're all good friends. We try and keep it lively for sure.
So is there anything that you had an issue with on either season that you felt either was kind of catty with you, or they weren't, or there was just tension there that you weren't quite sure why it was there with anybody, either current or prior season?
Season 1 was like a big family. It was no big deal. This current season, me and Lima didn't see eye to eye at all, because she comes from a body painting background, which, I mean, I respect that. She's a world famous body painter, but that's not what the show is. It's not a show about body painting. It's a completely different philosophy of paint. Body painting is about laying heavy contrasting colors and shapes against each other so it can read in a three-dimensional way. Well, in effects, it's already three-dimensional. It's a sculpture. It's a prosthetic. You don't have to do all that stuff. You have to let the natural textures of your piece, cast its own shadows. You don't paint the shadows. So, I don't know if you guys saw the Frankenstein episode, but, I spent 2.5 hours pre-painting my cowl, the Frankenstein cowl, and then I turn around to go work on something, and I come back, and she's over there, painting it black. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Step away from my Frankenstein. She's like, no, trust me. I'm like, trust you, my eyes work, and you're painting it wrong. Get out of here. So yeah, and she didn't like that because, she's top of her industry, but I'm pretty good at what I do, too. So, we butted heads. But it is what it is. She's a nice person. She's a good lady, just professionally, we don't get along.
So there's the skinny on that. Anybody else? There we go. Okay, so there and there. That's wrong. Just FYI, anybody else? Who is your favorite judge and who is your least favorite judge on the show and why? Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. Well, okay. As a whole, my favorite judge is Patrick Tatopoulos from season 1 and season 2. Just because he is what I aspire to be. I don't always want to be, busting my knuckles in molds and breaking my back lifting, 500 pounds of clay. He's achieved that status where people hire him for his mind, his concepts, his creativity. That's what I'm working towards. Eventually, I'd like to. I can't even feel my hands half the time anymore. My carpal tunnel's so bad. You know what I mean? I'm really over that. So working with him was a real pleasure. His movies, The Dark City was one of my favorite films ever. Rise of the Lycans, I think, is one of the best werewolf movies in years. He's an amazing, brilliant artist. So I would have to say he was my favorite. On this current season, I love V. V's been a friend of mine before I was even on the first season of Face Off. So I love V. She's like, mom to me. But I really enjoyed Neville because Neville's also that conceptual artist. He's the guy that uses his mind, and I like the way he breaks things down. He critiques things like an artist, not like an effects guy. So that was, that was a real pleasure. Glenn, on the other hand, man, that guy. He can really get under my skin sometimes. But it's not in anything personal. I like Glenn. I think Glenn's a really cool guy. Just sometimes his phrasing can be a little off-putting. Because you're in there, you're busting your ass for, to create 2 months worth of work in 18 hours. And he'll just look at it and be like, that is a latex abortion. And I'm like, what did you just say? You can just feel you're like, really, man, you're going to say that to me? I just busted my ass and you're going to call it. So, but I get it. It's his character. It's what he does. He uses his vocabulary skills to make you feel this big. And he's really good at it. So I would have to say, not from any dislike. I like Glenn. I just don't really like his judging technique. But to each their own. A lot of people think Glenn is the best judge because he's so critical. I just prefer that, I'm a nice guy. I like to help people. I like to see people happy and succeed. So if I were a judge, I would be complimenting them on their successes. I would mention their flaws, but in a, hopefully in a constructive way to teach them better, not to try and knock them down the ladder. But to each their own. Not everyone likes being nice to people, I suppose.
Stripes tacos don't count. You have to go get a taco from the taqueria. Shush. Yes, they do. Shush.
You know what? Afterwards, we'll go get a taco together.
Any other questions?
Thanks, can you speak
Here we
up?
go.